Meanwhile, of course, there's another war that's taking attention away from your war, that's Israel's with the Hamas terrorist group. How is that affecting your war against the Russian invaders in terms of the arms you're going to get, the necessary support you want?
We definitely see how Russians are benefiting from what is happening currently in the Middle East, as media attention is now currently on Israel and Palestine, whatever is happening there, and it's just something inevitable in a way that media works. Also, of course, the attention of the decision makers in North America as well as in Europe is now also has to be divided to cover two big conflicts out there. So it's not helping us much. And plus, we are getting into the winter and getting ready for those cold days. And Russians are now intensifying their attacks on our critical infrastructure and our power generation and electricity distribution. And of course, when Ukraine is no longer in the news, it looks like maybe the problem does not exist. And maybe it's already gone and the war is over. But it's not. I mean, it's really at high intensity. And we need support now as never before. Therefore, we hope that this could be sustained, because only with that sustained international military and humanitarian support that we can continue defending democracy. We have to always remember what is on the line, and authoritarianism cannot triumph over democracy and war over peace and might over what is right at this time. Therefore, it's important to maintain that support. We are out there fighting for all of you, fighting for democracy, for human rights, and whatever is important here in the free world.
Meanwhile, about the progress of the war, I mean, you mentioned that you're preparing for winter. Parts of the battlefield are really now, you know, the Ukrainian mud that sinks tanks or at least bogs them. That's the end of your summer offensive, your autumn offensive. The head of Ukraine's defence force has been brilliant in resisting the Russian invasion, but has just published, as you know, a surprising 9-page assessment of the war so far. And he said essentially the war now is at a stalemate. That's dangerous for Ukraine, the smaller nation, unless it can get some technological breakthroughs. How do you read this document?
Russia is demonstrating that they are ready for a protracted war, relying on its own resources, on the war fatigue, and also on its nuclear blackmailing. Indeed, we do need a technological breakthrough to have an edge and to be able to move forward. Just to remind you, the last counteroffensive, which started in early June, we didn't have the air superiority, we didn't have the fighter jets. Also, we still lack many of the long-range capabilities. But in addition to that, we do need some modern mind-breaching technology as well as electronic warfare technology. And our Chief of General Staff has really elaborated quite a compelling article where he's describing that. And I think it was a strong message to our supporters, to those countries who are out there, to work together with us to make sure that we can gain that technological advantage in order to be able to move forward. Being on an offensive is much more difficult, because you have to keep in mind that we have kilometers of the minefields, and the minute you get there, Russian artillery comes, and it's extremely costly to be able to move through those kilometers of landmines out there, especially without proper technology to clear that, but also without the air cover which you need to be able to even attempt it.
You're not getting downhearted about your prospects?
If you ask Ukrainians, we still feel very united and resilient in what we are. We just don't have any other choice, because if Russia stops fighting, it's the end of the war. If we stop fighting, it's the end of Ukraine. So for us, it's an existential war, and we don't have any other option but not to give up. As President Zelensky has rightly said, many commentators or many people who are watching this war, they are expecting some sort of movie where action will be changing very fast and things will be happening. But in real life, it's a bit different. And this is when it slows down. We still need that support to be able to go on.
Ambassador Vasyl Myroshnychenko, thank you so much indeed for your time.
Thanks for having me, Andrew.